These are 5 football betting strategies the bookies fear most. Professional punters repeatedly make big money from smaller stakes by using them. And no, none of these are match betted. So starting with the first football betting strategy that has made a handful of punters millions over the last 20 years. In-play football betting throws up massive opportunities because, unlike other sports betting events, vast sums of money are traded on almost every match, meaning it's a lot easier to get big betting stakes on in play. Being one of the first to react to changes happening on the pitch when massive betting volumes are available is extremely lucrative. It works like this. Savvy punters acquire satellite encryption keys or purchase high-speed satellite feeds on the internet. Depending on the league or match, delays vary between 2 and 8 seconds. This small window of opportunity is solid gold. When a corner is taken, a goal is scored, or an aggressive attack takes place, the punter has a short amount of time to get their money on. If the bet is a winner, they keep the profit, but should it turn out to be a loser, they simply cash out for a small loss in play. If you've ever noticed large bets flying around in the betting exchange markets just before something crucial happened, it's likely that the money comes from someone using this particular strategy. It's not just a football betting strategy either, it happens on other sports too. But the finer details are what allows people doing this to make millions from reduced stakes. You see, soft bookies like Bet365 or William Hill won't stand this kind of activity for long. So betting exchanges like Orbit, Betfair or sharp betting brands like BettingAsia are best. The last one is the simplest way to access multiple brands like Pinnacle from one place. Now, the next football betting strategy is far easier to execute because you don't need specialist satellite keys or equipment. Quite literally, anyone can use it. By focusing on football accumulators, it provides huge payouts from tiny stakes. And it works so well because extreme leverage is created by accumulated results. Effectively, the advantage achieved within single betting lines on the accumulator are multiplied, compounding that mathematical advantage. So, in practice, what does this actually mean? Well, it looks like this. By only adding overpriced bets to the slip, payout exceeds the chance of happening by a long shot. For example, if BettingAsia are pricing 5 even money bets at 2.25 instead of 2.0, the overall return on the 5-leg accumulator is nearly double the payout, even though the chance of it happening was still the same. So with this strategy, it's quite possible to see 5- and 6-figure returns from a single bet. There's more on how you can identify value betting lines in the 5th strategy on our list, so we'll cover that in just a moment. The most important thing is that each selection's price exceeds its true chance of happening. But perhaps the best thing about this strategy is that it's hard for bookies to identify low stakes accumulators as sharp betting activity. The people using it often slip under the radar because typically bookies see accumulators as a recreational bet. Now, usually the best place to find value betting lines on football is in the under-overs, both teams to score, corners and correct score markets. For this strategy, the lower exchange liquidity is when you find a value bet, the better, because typically this is how bookmakers assess and identify smart betting behaviour, as regular viewers of this channel will already know. Now, despite the massive returns, there's only one issue with this football betting strategy. With it relying on finding multiple mistaken price lines, there are a limited amount of opportunities each day. Unlike the next strategy on our list, which is used repeatedly in the last couple of hours before a football match takes place. Individual returns are lower, but the results are extremely consistent when it's done right. Now, it's not luck. Professional football bettors often focus on the final 2 hours before the start of a football match. In particular, that final hour once the starting lineup has been confirmed. The main reason they do this is because the huge betting volumes that are available. Punters who use high-speed exchange software have probably seen their 40 grand stakes knocking the Premier League betting odds around in the past. It's a very scalable strategy given the nature of pre-match betting. It works like this. As new information is released, betting prices inevitably change. This football betting strategy capitalises on those changing prices by backing at the current price as information is released and then cashing out after the price has shortened, or laying on the exchanges and then backing it after the price has then drifted out. Which way the price moves depends on the odds and the team news. Small changes in prices are worth big sums of money as millions are regularly traded in the final hour before kickoff. This can be done by backing or laying on an exchange like Orbit or between different providers such as Black and the exchanges. The best opportunities arise when there's a drastic change in the lineup. For example, if a key striker like Haaland isn't starting when it was previously expected. Now, the downside limitation is that unless a betting price moves half a point, you need to stake large amounts of money across relatively small price moves in order to make a hefty return. Now, I should stress that using larger stakes with this strategy doesn't mean the entire capital is at risk. If the price moves in the wrong direction, we're able to cash out for a loss similar to the potential profits. Successfully using the strategy little and often with stakes of 500 or so will give a nice return. And we're not restricted to doing this once a match either. With multiple changes, there are multiple price moves, so there's lots of opportunity there. Football strategy number 4 focuses on immature betting markets. Obscure football leagues like the Danish Cup are usually the easiest place to find value prices. Occasionally, there's value in the match odds market, but typically, ancillary markets like half-time, full-time, unders, overs and both teams to score are best, especially when you're looking at the early prices 12 hours or so before the match starts. Unlike the next strategy in this video, this approach does have losing bets in the short term. However, over the long term, it comes out on top. Betting at higher prices than the bet is truly worth means that mathematically we emerge profitable. It's what's known as betting at positive expected values. Explained fully in a previous video. If you want a fuller explanation, I'll leave a link in the description down below. Briefly, as an illustration, if a bet has a 2-to-1 chance, it means there's a 33% chance of it winning. In decimals, odds of 3.0 reflect this. However, if we were to bet on this same event 3 times at a price of 4.0, we would be left in profit longer term. Now, the best thing about this strategy is that there are hundreds of opportunities to use it each week. Getting smaller stakes on here and there soon adds up. The downside is soft bookies like Bet365, AAA and William Hill will limit and restrict the betting accounts for people that are using it. Quite honestly, they ban anyone who's betting with an advantage. Again, the best solution is to use sharp betting brands that allow winners. Depending on where you're located, they vary, so check out the details. If you want to repeatedly make money from football betting, then they work perfectly with the 5th and final football betting strategy we've got here, because this approach guarantees a no-risk profit every single time that you use it. I documented 30 days worth of results to show you exactly how and why it works so well. They're explained fully in the next video here. Check it out and smash the like button down below for future uploads.